What up, guys? It's Bo here again, and I'm gonna quickly finish. I'm gonna do a quick entry on this one before it gets fucking dark. The sun is literally on the horizon. Like literally, it's gonna go down any minute now. But in this entry, I wanted to give like a short kind of expansion on something I talked about before, which is problems and opportunities. Right. So I did a vlog entry about becoming an executor and also becoming a creator rather than a consumer, right? And really, what I wanted to expand on is the mindset behind that, right? How do you change from being like a bystander, like someone who just observes, to being someone who executes, and from being someone who just consumes things to being someone who creates his own stuff, right? And the mindset that is at the core of this is basically start shifting your focus, like the things that you focus on in life, to basically start to look for things, to look for the silver lining in things, right? And I mentioned this, in those entries, but every problem, right, that you face in life, whether it be that you were laid off, that you were dumped, that you failed in something, anything, there is always a silver lining to it. There is always a lesson that you can learn, or there is always there's a gift. There's treasure lying under the pile of shit, basically. You just need to kind of dig for it, right? So you need to get your hands a bit dirty, metaphorically. So, using an example, right? I'll use the example that I presented in the last video, which I talked about sexuality and the suppression of sex, right? We can view that as a problem, right? We can view that as like, well, it's like a problem that people are like kind of stripped of their power because they've been stripped of their sexuality. But there is also an opportunity in that, right? The opportunity in that is that we can basically, well, but the first thing is there's not so much competition, right? There's not so much competition, right? If you're someone who knows or is at least willing to come into your sexuality and come to your power, then basically you have the upper hand over a lot of other people who are kind of still suppressed and still kind of mentally unready for to kind of cross that gap, right? So so as a man, you can learn to be a very manly man, and you can be an exemplary man in society, and like really succeed and to make positive change. As a woman, you can really be known as a woman who is a role model to other women, right? And you can feel powerful and you can succeed in life, right? So the point is, yes, we need to consider the problems. Well, we need to consider the problems that we have from the point of view of, maybe I shouldn't do this. But even then, it's well, what I'm trying to say, you have to go into the feelings, right? You have to go into the feelings because, like I say, we all have reactions, like emotional reactions to things that we might not kind of find pleasant or resourceful for us. But just because we find that to be the case, it's not that that usually, like, well, all the time those feelings come from a genuine place. Like I say, your sensitivity is never wrong, right? It's always pointing you somewhere, and it's up to you to interpret it the right way, right? And even here, like where you're looking at your negative emotions, you're looking at your hurt feelings, you need to adopt a resourceful mindset to kind of interpret those that feeling state, right? And essentially to find something about that you can take and to improve on your situation the next time, or to basically make it so that you don't feel that emotion, you don't have to feel that emotion next time, like, so so this is all about tapping into your sensitivity in terms of going to your darkness, right? But then how you deal with the situations as they arise, right? You will make better decisions if you change your mindset from one that just looks for the kind of the the kind of shitty oh shit, like I'm in deep shit, like you look everywhere and all you see is like just like problems, like impossibility, it can't be done, that mindset. Instead of just looking out for things like that, like shifting your mindset so that you start to look for things, like start to look, well, actually, maybe because I went through this stuff, actually, yeah, I'm starting to understand this problem a bit better now, or I'm starting to understand this person, like this person that I've been kind of arguing with, like, I still feel that, like it's fucking impossible to talk to this person, but maybe it's something that I'm doing. Like maybe it's the way that I'm speaking. Like maybe if I just leave that person as they are and just change my approach, and changing your approach does not mean like admitting defeat, or like having to change your identity, or like identifying yourself as a bad person that you made a mistake. It's not about that. It's not about beating yourself up, right? It's about just maybe if I just tweak this one thing that I do, like maybe if I view it as a game, like in a game you're not going to beat yourself up if you die. Like if your main character dies, right? You're just like, well, maybe if I try this strategy, maybe if I try this approach, it might work, right? If I take this thing as it is, like which I should do, if I take this problem that I'm facing in life as it is, like, and I assume that it's not going to change, and I just look at my approach and see if changing my approach will help. Then if you start to do this, your approach starts to change, your mentality starts to change from a place of just negatively focusing, so focusing on all of the problems, all of the impossibility, to changing to looking at the potential solutions, the lessons that life is teaching you through these unpleasant, challenging situations, and you start to like basically start to succeed. You still fail, right? You fail more, but because you're failing more and you're learning and you're adapting your mindset to be more resourceful to you and to other people, you're just going to succeed a lot more, right? So ultimately, learn to focus, learn to see problems as like interesting challenges that you can tackle, right? Learn to see problems in like a fun way. It might like I say, it's gonna take a bit of diving into your shadows to start to understand why you're feeling hurt feelings when you hit problems, right? And then start to say like a lot of things like shadow work and inner child work is about kind of identifying with your emotions, sitting with your emotions, and validating your emotions. So like just knowing whatever you feel, even if it's you feel that it's like a wrong emotion to feel, you take it and you're like, I'm glad you're okay. Like you feeling you're okay. Let that pass through, and then from there you'll start to detach more and more from like basically you'll feel less and less negative every time you have a problem come up. But then and then from there you start to shift your mentality and your focus to focus on things that are resourceful and that will help you, to grow as a person and to provide value to society, right? So cool. That's the expansion I wanted to make. Hopefully that's a bit, hopefully that's clearer now for you. And yeah, see life as an interesting game and you'll have a lot of fun. So cool. See you in the next entry and peace!